only mode. We do invite questions. You can submit your questions through the GoToWebinar screen. If for any reason you cannot submit a question that way, you can also submit questions to Emily at the email address on the screen. Additionally, if you have questions after this webinar is completed, you can also submit them to the email address at the bottom of the screen, and we will respond when we can. Please take a minute to look at this disclaimer. My name is Chris Gallen, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Veros, and our panelists today are Susanna Roberts, Chief Technology Officer for ACI, and Adrian Newby, Chief Technology Officer for Veros Real Estate Solutions. Our agenda for today will be Adrian will tell us about PDF extraction overview. Susanna will then tell us about the process of PDF extraction. Adrian will then follow up with implementing PDF extraction. And we will save 15 to 20 minutes at the end for answering the questions that you have submitted. Let me introduce our panelists. Susanna Roberts is the Chief Technology Officer of ACI, a leading provider of workflow automation solutions for the real estate and insurance industry. ACI is a division of Veros Analytics, a leading provider of information about risk to professionals in insurance, healthcare, mortgage, and government. During her 25-year tenure with the company, Susanna has played an instrumental role in the company's numerous technology contributions to the mortgage industry. From connecting appraisers nationwide to streamlining quality control, her leadership provides ACI enterprise clients with the means for processing appraisals and managing exceptions in a consistent and efficient manner. Susanna earned her BA in Mathematics and Economics from Randolph-Macon Women's College located in Lynchburg, Virginia. Adrian Newby is the Chief Technology Officer for Veros. He has more than 25 years practical experience with the delivery of advanced technology-enabled business solutions in both the United States and European markets. He currently oversees all technology research and development as well as infrastructure operations for Veros. He has been responsible for the execution of many business technology strategies that have contributed significant profit to the respective organizations, and in 1996 implemented the United States' largest commercial Oracle database in support of Transamerica Corporation's direct marketing, CRM, and risk management operations. He holds a bachelor's degree in business studies from Manchester Metropolitan University. And with that, I will turn it over to Adrian.
Well, good morning, everybody, or if you're on the East Coast of the United States, it would be good afternoon. Thank you very, very much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend an hour with us on this topic. I wanted to start off by outlining a little bit about the roles that both Veros and ACI play in the industry in general, and with the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHFA, Uniform Mortgage Data Program Initiative specifically. Veros has been around since 2001. We provide a number of automated valuation analytics solutions and also a range of platform solutions to automate, manage, and administer valuations and valuation orders as they flow through the workflow of financial institutions. In 2010, Veros was fortunate enough to be selected by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to be the technology provider for the Uniform Collateral Data Portal. And specifically with respect to UCDP, Veros provides today's webinar, we are also a provider of a PDF extraction service, which is integrated with UCDP specifically for the purpose of allowing PDF-based appraisals to be submitted to UCDP. I'll hand it over to Susanna right now to provide the outline of ACI and API.
Hi, everyone. ACI has been around for over 30 years, and we're a leading provider of software solutions for the valuation industry. We are the providers of Spot. That's our smart PDF open translation product that's available on UCDP. Our client base includes the nation's premier lenders and national appraisal companies, and our flagship ACI 2010 software is utilized by tens of thousands of appraisers all over the country. And we're very happy to be here.
Thanks, Susanna. So what I thought I'd do to present some context for today's discussion, since we have quite a wide variety of participants on the webinar today, is to provide a little bit of a background on the various initiatives that are currently in flight under the direction of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I call them the U-Star initiatives because they are all prefixed with the letter U, beginning with the Uniform Mortgage Data Program. You may or may not have seen an announcement which really kicked off this whole initiative, in which the FHFA directed Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to work together to basically build a more robust and standardized platform and set of operating principles for the entire real estate lending industry to improve the quality of information exchange, to facilitate the freer exchange of data, and to structure that data in a more meaningful way to provide for more thorough and more effective analysis of the various points along the real estate origination servicing chains. Underneath the umbrella of the UMDP are three broad initiatives. The first of which, and where we will be spending most of our time today, is the UCDP, the Uniform Collateral Data Portal. This is the technology that Veros has been lucky enough to be asked to build and operate on behalf of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And it's a platform to allow Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac customers who wish to sell their loans to either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac to upload an electronic appraisal, either interactively via a web-based portal or for larger volume customers directly through system-to-system integration. We'll get into a little bit more detail about UCDP and the requirements that surround UCDP as we move forward through this webinar. The second and somewhat related initiative that we might be talking about today is the UAD initiative, or the Uniform Appraisal Data Set. This was an initiative in which Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, along with MISMO and Veros and a number of other industry players, worked together to build a very, very comprehensive and standardized data set and data dictionary that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will be requiring lenders to use in order to submit appraisals to either GSE. It was originally based on the open source MISMO data standard, and caused, first of all, the release of a new minor version of the MISMO data set, and subsequently a GSE extended version of that data set to accommodate the additional data elements that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac require over and above the data elements encapsulated in space in this MISMO specification. And you'll see UAD popping up quite a lot across the industry as various vendors and technology providers update their products in order to be able to interact with UCDP. The final initiative underneath the UMDP is not one we're going to spend a great deal of time on today, but the Uniform Loan Delivery Dataset is ultimately a specification for the protocol, the data elements, the process that the GSEs require to actually submit, deliver a loan to the GSE. For those of you who have interest in learning more about any of these initiatives, you can consult some of these web links. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a great deal of information available online through their various electronic web presences. And as I'm sure you can imagine, both Veros and ACI also provide information to assist vendors, technology providers, lenders, appraisers, other interested parties to learn more about UMDP and its various sub-initiatives. So let's talk about why we even have a need for this thing called PDF extraction. One of the requirements for UCDP is that all appraisals must be submitted using one of several approved XML formats. For those of you who may not be familiar with the term XML, XML is a way of describing and structuring data so it can be exchanged easily between systems without losing any of the information or integrity it contains. XML also describes, in this particular case, various permissible and impermissible data elements, and to a certain extent in various places what permissible and impermissible values may or may not be. So in order to deliver an appraisal successfully to UCDP, you must deliver the appraisal document in one of these approved XML formats. And really the format that you choose or the formats that are available to you are a function of what type of form you are trying to submit to UCDP. The UAD data specification is embodied in the four major forms that should be familiar to most of the participants on this webinar and are available in all major forms software solutions. If we use the Fannie Mae numbering scheme, it would be the 1004, the 1073, the 1075, the 2055, and correspondingly those forms are known as the 70, the 465, the 466, and then 2055 for Freddie Mac customers. For those UAD forms, the available XML formats that can be used are based on either MISMO, which is the open source industry standard specification, and as you can see here, it's based on MISMO 2.6 with extensions to support the additional fields described by the GSEs in the Uniform Appraisal Dataset. There are also industry providers who have well-established XML dialects of their own, and ACI and FNC via the AI Ready dialect are also formats of XML that can be used to submit appraisals to the portal. There are also a number of non-UAD forms that may also be submitted, and in addition to the XML formats that I've already outlined, MISMO 2.6 without the GSE extensions, and it's very important to see that there are one there because there were modifications to MISMO 2.6 following its release. MISMO 2.6 Erasmus can also be used. But you'll notice so far I've only talked about XML, and I've not mentioned PDFs at all. The need for PDF extraction is driven by the fact that many lenders today do not yet have an XML-centric workflow. They may work with appraisers who do not prefer or do not have the ability to submit XML. And in actual fact, as many of you I'm sure are well aware, a significant portion of appraisal reports in the industry today are exchanged as PDF files. So PDF is not XML. So in order to facilitate the adoption of UCDP, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac decided that it made sense to provide not only the ability to submit XML, but also to provide the ability for PDF files from various form software vendors to also be submitted. And these can be extracted. The data contained within the PDF file can be extracted, verified, validated, transformed into one of the supported XML standards, and from that point, delivered into UCDP. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac asked Veros to build that support into the UCDP portal, and it is available today, and it is already in active production use. So at this point, having outlined the need for a PDF extraction capability, I'd like to hand over to Susanna Roberts, and Susanna will walk us through what actually happens within the world of PDF extraction to build a little bit of familiarity and a little bit of understanding with the PDF extraction process.
Thanks, Adrian. Well, I thought I'd start off first with a little background on PDFs in general. It was almost 20 years ago when Dr. John Warnock, one of the founders of Adobe, he had an idea. He wanted to create a universal way to communicate and view printed information. Rather than faxing, which was really popular at the time, he envisioned documents being sent electronically and then being viewed and printed on different computer systems. He called that project Camelot. He based this project on his Adobe PostScript, which was already a successful universal printing language to print hard copy pages on a variety of printers. It used a page layout scheme for text and graphics, similar to like an XY coordinate map. Adobe took this language and adapted it to the computers of the day, which, as many of you may remember, were 286, 386 style computers. They made it simplified and more appropriate for viewing and transporting the documents from computer to computer. They released the product at Comdex in 1992, and everyone loved it, and it received the Best of Comdex Award. Adobe then continued to enhance the format and sell Acrobat product to support its use. Once they introduced the free PDF reader, adoption quickly skyrocketed. And then in 1995, it was accepted as an ANSI standard, which opened its use to government and more commercial business applications. Then in 2007, 15 years after its initial release, Adobe did something that made the format truly an open standard. They released a specification to the public domain and is published as ISO 32000. Now it is easily downloaded, and anyone can understand the structure of a PDF and create applications around the specification. Warnock's vision with Camelot was that a universal viewing and printing document would change the fundamental way people would work. And he was right. Today there are countless PDF documents created and relied upon in all facets of personal and business use. Click the sign. So I hope you enjoyed the little history lesson, and it should give you a little background to PDF extraction. But what exactly is it? Well, it's really pretty simple. It's an automated process to read the data that's included in the PDF and organizing it in a way that's structured for future reference and storage. To do this, it is important that the PDF include the actual text characters rather than a scanned or image format. That way the data is clearly readable and does not require any OCR technology. In the industry, this is typically referred to as a first-generation PDF, and is what we usually see in the appraisal industry today. One telltale sign of this type of PDF is that you can actually highlight the text in Adobe Reader. So if you're unsure if you have a first-generation PDF, just open it up and see if you can highlight some text. This will give you a good indication that it's a candidate for PDF extraction. Next slide. If you've ever wondered if this type of extraction is used in other industries, it sure is. While you may not have heard the term PDF extraction before, I'm fairly confident that you've seen its results of its use. Ever do a Google or Bing search and notice that the PDF was found that included information that you were looking for? Here on the screenshot, you can see it even with searching for UCDP. That's because most of the search engines look through the PDFs posted online and indexes information from them. They even convert many to HTML for viewing. It's also used extensively to organize medical reference material and library ebooks. The military uses it for document applications and in some cases reformats the data to comply with Department of Defense standards. And there are even some applications in organizing public record material in real estate. So you might be wondering, how exactly does it work? While there are different techniques when extracting PDFs, we call ours SPOT. It was an easy name to use, and it stands for Smart PDF Open Translation. And it has 5 major steps. I'll just walk you through them. In step 1, we look at the PDF and make sure that it complies with that Adobe specification. If it does, then we actually print an electronic working copy of the document. Then we put the original PDF document aside for storage and retention. In step 2, we analyze each page of the electronic copy and match it to our library of over 2,000 page types. Then, when a match is found, we scale the page to account for differences in sizing, like if the page were printed letter or legal size, or if the page had wide or skinny margins. Once we have a good rendering of the page, we read the data and extract it to a data file, focusing in on the data fields that are needed for MISMO XML format. After we have the XML, we scrub out any formatting data that isn't needed for the 2.6 GSC delivery, as well as perform heuristics on the data for each page to ensure it was properly captured. Then, before we consider it a successful translation, we run it through a rules process of over 200 validation rules, specific to the SPOT process. So what is our track record? Well, we've had SPOT in production for over 3 years, and it has successfully processed over 1 million appraisal files. We provide weekly updates to accommodate for changes in the layouts or new PDF drivers. These updates are then incorporated into the UCDP service through an automated update process. For PDFs that do fail or do not pass the validation check, we process them, and they can be escalated to a Tier 2 level that uses multiple processing techniques as well as a visual review of the data. We have a motto around here: no PDF left behind. So when should a lender consider PDF extraction? Well, if the lender is already receiving PDFs and wants to accelerate their timeline for UCDP readiness, this could be a good option. Or if they're in the process of transitioning to XML delivery, the PDF submission is a good bridge option until they've fully transitioned to their new process. And since changes to XML delivery might necessitate capital expenditures for storage or workflow, PDF delivery allows it to be an operational expense while a lender plans for capital expenditures in upcoming budget years. And even once a lender is delivering XML, having PDF delivery as a backup option for cases when XML may not be available can help with exception cases or continuity planning. So hopefully that gave you the information that you need, and I can pass over to Adrian to see how a lender might access the service.
Okay, thanks, Susanna. So at this stage, we have have taken a little journey through the various initiatives that are underway, sponsored by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We've talked a little bit about the requirement to submit as XML. We've talked about the fact that there are many lenders in the industry today and many valuation providers who are possibly not yet ready to move to an entirely XML-centric model and are still working with, which illustrates the need for a PDF extraction type facility. We've talked a little bit about what PDFs are. We've talked a little bit about how ACI technology extracts PDFs, and it should certainly be clear at this stage that the Veros PDF extraction service that's bundled within the portal is an implementation of ACI's PDF extraction technology, and Veros and ACI work together very, very closely on a daily basis to ensure that the PDF extraction service available in UCDP is capable of handling as many different types, varieties, and forms of PDF as possible. We are fully subscribed to the motto of no PDF left behind, and I'm hopeful that once we are complete with the formal part of the presentation, we'll be able to address some of the questions coming in from participants that explore that particular area in more detail. Before I go with the final part of the formal presentation, I just want to drop in a quick reminder to those of you who are participating and listening to feel free to enter questions that could be captured through your GoToMeeting web interfaces, and we'll try and get to some of those at the end of the presentation. So at this point, we understand why we need PDF extraction capability. We understand a little bit about what PDF extraction actually is. So the last part of this presentation really addresses the practical aspects of selecting a PDF extraction strategy for your business to enable you to begin submitting appraisals to UCDP in support of your origination of loan delivery operations. So the first question that I'd like to address is how do Fannie and Freddie customers access the PDF extraction service? It's very simple. In order to engage with Veros, you can sign up directly through the UCDP portal website. The contract is available for review and download online. And I'll show you some screenshots in a couple of slides to help you understand exactly how that process looks and how it works. And then once you are comfortable with the terms and conditions of the agreement, and you've decided that this is an option, or this is the option that you wish to pursue, you can then signify your acceptance, confirm the arrangements, confirm the contractual terms, all through the portal, and you're off and ready, able to go. Once you have been signed up, using the PDF extraction service is very, very simple. There's nothing that has to be done beyond submitting a supported PDF file. We'll get into a little bit more the next bullet point about what supported actually means. But based on the slides we covered previously, it certainly requires one of the forms that we outlined and identified earlier in the presentation. There are actually two ways to interact with UCDP, as I pointed out earlier. The first is interactively through the web-based portal. And through the web-based portal, you have the ability to upload as many as 10 appraisal PDFs in a given submission. So it is a robust solution to upload PDFs interactively, even if you're dealing with quite a large volume. With 100 PDFs, you could get those uploaded with as little as 10 submission transactions. However, there are also options to connect your systems directly to UCDP through direct integration. And for lenders either choosing to integrate directly with UCDP themselves or to integrate through one of the agents listed on the Fannie and Freddie websites, you can submit your PDFs just as well through those direct integration connections, regardless of whether you submit interactively through the web portal or through the system-to-system integration. The processes that we've described today for PDF extraction work in exactly the same way. So these are the vendors who provide forms software that the UCDP PDF extraction service can already process today. So if you're using ACI software or software from Alamode or Bradford or SFRep, you are already on a platform that will enable you to deliver PDFs and have them successfully extracted within the portal. It's possible that other vendors may be added over time. So I would encourage you to visit the various web links that I outlined earlier in the presentation. If there's a particular brand of form software that you would like to see supported, or if you have relationships with customer relationship representatives from either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, that would be another vehicle to submit your requests and questions. But ACI, Alamo, Bradford, and SFRep are the form software providers who are already certified and able to provide a produced PDF that can be accepted by UCDP. One of the questions that I handle on a fairly regular basis, and I would like to spend a little bit of time addressing right now, is the following question, which is, do I have to use this service? I've got a bunch of PDFs, but is this a monopoly? And the answer is absolutely not. UCDP, as I pointed out earlier, is not interested in PDFs per se, it's interested in XML. As a convenience for UCDP adopters, UCDP comes with the ability to extract PDFs and produce XML that can be consumed by the portal, but you are not compelled by any means to use this service. As Susanna pointed out earlier, PDF has been a public domain technology specification for a number of years, and vendors such as ACI and others have provided PDF extraction capabilities for a number of years. The more ambitious amongst you may even wish to attempt to build PDF extraction capabilities internally. It's certainly possible. It's not particularly easy because of the large number of variants that you have to be able to deal with in a PDF extraction exercise. But certainly for the brave and ambitious amongst you, if you are not in a position to move to XML and do not wish to enter into a services contract with any third-party provider, you can certainly build your own PDF extraction capability. So there is a great deal of latitude available to lenders with regard to decisions they might wish to make around PDF extraction and processing. The decisions I would suggest fall really into two categories. decision category A is, do I want to move away from PDF and move to a purely XML-centric model? And if the answer to that question is yes, then really PDF extraction is to be considered a bridging strategy to help you reach that objective. If there are no immediate plans to move to a purely XML-centric model, then certainly the decisions would center around, do I want to build my own PDF extraction capability to generate the right type of XML? Or do I want to engage with a third-party service provider, either external to UCDP or using the integrated UCDP extraction service? So we are certainly very, very comfortable doing these questions in this particular issue in the Q&A part of the presentation at the end of the formal presentation. So let's talk a little bit about the economics. One of the things that you will find when you explore the PDF extraction service that is integrated with UCDP, you'll find that it is a fee-based model. The fees are borne by the lender, not by the appraiser, and not by any agent that is submitting appraisals on behalf of the lender. We'll get into that in a little bit more detail as we move through this slide, because I want to make sure that everybody understands the degree of control that the lender has in this process. So the happy case is an appraisal submitted to UCDP is processed, properly extracted, and as it's described in the downloadable online contract, the fee for that extraction is a flat $3.50 per appraisal. And as you can see on the slide here, that $3.50 fee is only billable if the PDF can be successfully extracted. When you upload a PDF into UCDP, the extraction service, if you've signed up for it, will attempt the extraction, and it will tell you whether or not it could extract it. If you receive feedback through the UCDP interface that the PDF extraction was not successful, there is no fee. So there is no exposure to lenders for fees associated with failed extractions. So this will account for the vast majority of forms submitted through the portal, provided those are supported forms and they are produced by supported forms software. There will, however, for a variety of reasons, be a percentage of forms that may not extract well. For example, data may not be extracted completely. It may be an unsupported PDF driver, for example, that produces the data in a different format that the extraction software cannot read effectively. And so there are needs for additional levels of scrutiny in order to extract all of the data necessary from the PDF. That brings us to the Tier 2 service level. What happens in a Tier 2 PDF extraction process? And I'll at the end of this slide, I'll talk about how Tier 2 and Tier 3 services are invoked. But in a Tier 2 extraction service, the first thing that takes place is more invasive extraction software is used to attempt to extract whatever missing components there may be still embedded within the PDF. Beyond that, human beings actually look at the appraisal form to make sure they understand which form software produced the form, what type of form it is, even what page of the form they're looking at. And following the automated extraction process, the human being reviews the extraction results, and makes any necessary corrections. Obviously, based on the additional intensive process and the use of more invasive technologies, there's a higher fee for this particular extraction, $18 extraction process, again per form. The third and most labor-intensive option, Tier 3, is really reserved for appraisals, again, first-generation PDFs, but produced by a non-supported form software. So you've uploaded a PDF to the portal, and it's failed Tier 1 and Tier 2 extraction because it's not a PDF that's been produced by one of the supported form software vendors. So here, a human being will actually look at the PDF and manually key every single data element individually and directly into an XML document that is then delivered into the portal. That can be a very expensive proposition, and actually is the only option that's priced per page. So let's talk about Tier 2 and Tier 3. As you will see in the online PDF extraction services contract, there is no automatic invocation of Tier 2 or Tier 3 services. That's an elective decision made by the lender. So in the event that a PDF is uploaded and fails Tier 1 extraction, it's the lender's decision how to resolve that situation. The situation could be resolved in one of two ways. Three ways, actually. The lender can replace the PDF with XML. The lender can try and submit the PDF again, maybe by transferring it into some other software, producing the PDF on a different computer using a different PDF print driver. Or, if neither of those options are preferred by the lender can then follow the process described in the PDF document and instruct Veros to attempt Tier 2 extraction. So I want to make it very, very clear that Tier 2 and Tier 3 only come into play when the lender decides they want to invoke those service levels. So let's take a look now at the mechanics of signing up for PDF extraction services. As you can see here, this is a screenshot of the actual UCDP portal that is live and in production as we speak. I should point out that while the PDF extraction service contract is available online and you can sign up for it online, that does not mean that anyone in the lender organization can unilaterally commit the lender to extraction services and the associated fees. Only the end-user administrator level function within the lender's organization has access to this capability. And the actual act of signing up for PDF services is audit trailed within the portal. So lenders, we can provide lenders with an audit trail of who actually within the organization executed the PDF extraction services agreement. But you can see here, if you go over to the account administration tab on the right-hand side of the light blue tabs in the top third of the screenshot, this is the screen that's presented when you navigate the tab hierarchy, and you're presented with a billing address. And you can also see towards the lower third of the screen, there are two boxes side by side. The one on the left says available business units, and the one on the right says business units under this contract. One of the abilities you have within UCDP is the ability to build and manage your own organizational hierarchy. Many lenders are organized, for example, regionally. They may be organized by business line, by channel, and lender administrators, who are end users within the lender shop, can build an organizational hierarchy that suits that particular lender. Then the PDF extraction services agreement can be applied to some or all of those business units. So you may have, for example, a particular channel that is very PDF-centric, but you may have other channels that already have robust system XML integrations. So you may not wish to permit those channels to progress to PDF-based extraction. Again, the control is in the hands of the lender. There's a little larger screenshot here that shows the bottom line of the screen I was just showing you. It indicates the explicit acknowledgements that are found at the base of the contract. I'd also point out that there's a link where you can download a PDF copy of the contract to enable you to circulate that within your organization for legal review and so on and so forth. And there is an explicit submit button that signifies acceptance of the terms and conditions of the agreement. Once that submit button is pressed, the lender is able to submit PDFs for processing extraction. So, thank you very much for participating in this webinar. That brings us to the end of the formal part of the presentation. We have 15 minutes remaining approximately for question and answers. We've received quite a few already through the online Q&A facility. So at this point, I'm going to sign off as a presenter and hand back to Chris Gowan to moderate the Q&A part of the session. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Thank you, Adrian, and thank you, Susanna. We do have several questions that have been submitted, so let's get through some of these. Susanna, I'll direct the first couple of questions to you. There are questions saying that if the GSEs are requiring this XML format, why is it not just a requirement for appraisers to submit in that format? And as part of that question, there's another question asking if appraisers that are currently using ACI software can deliver in the XML format today.
The ACI appraisers can deliver XML format via email to lenders or to themselves if they want to, keep a copy of it for themselves. And most of the software vendors out there also allow for it. So I think it's really the lender's choice on whether or not they want to receive that type of data from their appraisers.
Yes, this is Adrian. I'd also like to jump in on this. From a contractual relationship point of view, the relationship that the GSEs have is with the lender. And so the GSEs can impose requirements on their seller services in terms of loan delivery and requirements around loan delivery. There is no direct relationship between the GSEs and the appraisers. So the GSEs are not in a position to mandate or dictate practices directly to the appraisal community. That is really a matter for the lenders working either with their chosen AMCs or with their appraisal panels.
Okay, thank you. And Adrian, I'll direct these next couple of questions to you because they're about the UCDP site. The first question is, can you demo the PDF extraction workflow on the UCDP site? And there's also a question asking if there's a pricing chart for bulk orders of PDF extraction. Right.
Well, let's tackle the first one first. There is, in addition to the production UCDP portal, there is a portal also up and running for integration purposes. The integration is generally there for lenders who want to build direct system-to-system integration, and it's a facility that is available to lenders, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only purpose. For anyone wishing to
next question I'll direct to you. We have a question asking what percentage of PDFs are successfully extracted?
Well, our experience over the last few years has been a very high percentage. Most software vendors are pretty standard in how they print a PDF, and we get about a 98% success rate in PDF extraction. Now that I do want to make a distinction between success rate and accuracy rate. Accuracy is how well does it translate, and we're able to translate 100% of the data that is able to be printed to the electronic copy. Success rate is how many PDFs, if you submitted 100 PDFs, how many would make it successfully to the end. I have a lot of people who get 100%, but because we do find some different drivers out there, or people are printing PDFs in a sort of a non-standard method, then that gives you that 2% fallout. And those are typically fall to that Tier 2 or Tier 3 area.
Okay. Adrian, another question for you about the website. We have a question asking, can you at least show us where on the site we access the PDF extraction tool?
Actually, the answer to this is no, but it's a happy kind of no. We've spent this webinar talking about the PDF extraction service, but you'll be happy to know that it all occurs by magic behind the scenes. There are facilities on the web portal to allow you to browse to the appraisal that you wish to upload, and when you are selecting a file to upload, you can select either XML or PDF. And if you select XML, then UCDP will recognize it as such and process it directly. If it detects that you submitted a PDF, it will send it off to the PDF extraction service if you've executed the agreement, and will then process it, extract the data, synthesize XML, and submit that into UCDP on your behalf. So it's a very, very transparent process for the end user. There's no software to download. There's no conversion process that the end user has to learn. Essentially, it's a matter of pointing and shooting at the PDF document on your desktop and uploading it. And from there, the process takes place automatically.
Okay. Here's another question. If a PDF file is successfully extracted and there are subsequent changes to the appraisal, is there an additional charge even though this is the same appraisal?
The answer for that is, I'm going to give a qualification here. I believe the answer to that question is no, provided it's a resubmission to the same reference number, the same stock file ID that was used for the additional appraisal, the original appraisal submission. But that's a good question. Thank you for that. I know that question is not answered in our online FAQs, and so we will add that to the FAQs to clarify. So take a look at the FAQs in a couple of days, and you'll see a confirmation of the plan.
Susanna, I'll let you take this one. How long does the PDF extraction process take?
Well, it varies from PDF to PDF. In that initial pre-processing stage, the PDF is actually printed to that working file electronically, and that's really the long pull of the process. And depending on how large the PDF is, how many images are included, that can take about 30 to 40 seconds. So depending on the systems and on the back end, we're seeing rates between 30 seconds and 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Not sure which you would be best for this.
Actually, can I provide a follow-on to Susanna's answer?
Sure.
And this follow-on is really for lenders doing system-to-system integration. If you're submitting interactively through the web portal, you can just come back after a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and just see whether or not the extraction is completed. But for larger institutions working in bulk, that's clearly impractical. So So within direct integration, when you submit either an XML or a PDF for processing by UCDP, you can submit it one of two ways. First way is described as polling, and the second is described as postback. The difference between the two is if you submit and use polling, then it's your responsibility to come back every so often and say, is it done yet, is it done yet, is it done yet? If you submit using postback, all you have to do is submit, and then the system will call you back when it's completed processing. So that helps you manage your workflow a little bit more efficiently. I don't want to go into any more detail on this webinar because it's a little bit off topic, but for those of you who are interested, you can see all the technical documentation available in the direct integration technical specification, which is available from both manufacturing.
Okay, we have a question that is, what if the PDF appraisal report is locked? How does that affect the extraction file? Anna, would you take that one?
Sure. That's really the key reason why we reprint the PDF. We do not break any copy protection on the PDF, but the PDF does need to be printable. And so it does accept locked PDFs. Again, they just need to be printable.
Okay. We have another question in that says, with the GSEs now requesting forms submitted directly through UCDP and likely expanding on the number of forms that will be submitted this way in the near future, vendors face the risk of appraisals being rejected due to failures in the compliance check. The question is, are we foreseeing a change in the overall business workflow from appraisals, submitting appraisals to the GSEs directly resolving compliance issues as soon as possible rather than submitting to the lender?
I'm very grateful that this question has been raised. I assure you it's not a planted question. I think we are at a very, very interesting time in the industry, and it's certainly possible to foresee that there may be workflow changes. I can't possibly forecast for anyone on this call what the GSEs are likely to choose to do themselves, but I can tell you that the movement that the GSEs have made in terms of the overall UMDP, the Uniform Data Program, the publication of UAD, which a UAD, I should point out, as a published standard, is not just a list of data elements. There's also a full and extensive detailed dictionary that describes not only valid data values for each element, but also validation checks and other issues that must be satisfied in order for a submission to be considered a UAD compliant document. There are a number of vendors in the industry already, including Veros through the Veros pathway, who are essentially building rules-based support into their technologies to essentially enable potential submitters, whether they be appraisers or lenders, to essentially test drive the submission and to get a preview of the likely outcome based on bouncing that up against all of the compliance and completeness checks that are already documented in the published UAD specifications. So I would say overall, yes, I do foresee potential workflow changes, probably for the better. There are a number of vendors out there who I believe are already moving towards support in one way, shape, or form for appraisers directly to enable appraisers to understand the degree to which their work product is UAD compliant before they even deliver it to the lender. As I mentioned, Veros is definitely one of those technology providers. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting evolution over the next 6 to 12 months in the industry, and I do think that there are likely to be some workflow changes for the better, but I couldn't possibly speculate on the specifics of what those might be.
Okay. We are out of time. I want to thank Adrian and Susanna for their participation, and thank each of you out there for attending. We did not get to everyone's question. If you submitted a question that we did not respond to on the webinar, we will get back to you directly with a response to your question. I also want to remind you that if you have additional questions after this webinar, you can still submit questions to the email that I gave you earlier. We will provide answers to them. Thank you, everyone.